Metal Gear Solid 5, I think, is definitely in my top 5 games. It might be my favorite game ever. There's something very special about it, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about sort of. It's a game that I think I wanted my whole life. It's seriously my favorite game, and it's sort of heartbreaking that we'll never get a finish to it or a sequel or anything like that. So I realized that it is 2018, and I'm talking about a game from 2015. But bear with me for a second.
That's okay. It just got a floppy ass sequel like 2 months ago, so I think it's relevant.
Metal Gear Survive. I can't even. That's like some creepy doppelganger of your ex or something. But basically, it feels like a game I waited my entire life for. When I was in like 4th grade, I was playing like Super Nintendo games and stuff. But one thing I really loved to do is I would hang out with my friends and we would play Manhunt in the backyard of all of our backyards, which is like nighttime hide and go seek. Which, when I really dig into what I love about Metal Gear, it captures that feeling, like the idea of like a stealth kind of action gameplay. I remember like we'd get into it. We'd buy like camo jackets, and we'd like my cousin came and played with us once, and he put like a ski mask on, and he was hanging from a swing set. Like the kind of stuff you do as Snake, like that whole feeling of just like of nighttime just sneakiness. And I mean, the Metal Gear games always kind of scratch that itch, but like Phantom Pain is sort of like a full-blown sandbox. Kind of reminded me of playing that kind of game in my literal sandbox as a kid. Moving on, kind of 5th grade later on, I got really into like military hardware. I think it was because of watching some action movies. I was really into True Lies. I was kind of like when you watch like your first R-rated movie and you're like, I love these, I like the guns, and my mom was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I was like, I don't care, Mom. And I'd go to the library and I'd check out all of those eyewitness books. You might remember them. I got some covers up here. But they had all like the details of like, I love that the Special Military Forces one on the side there. I actually rebought that on like used on eBay. Looking through that book, it's crazy how much technology is actually in Phantom Pain, because that was a bunch of like decommissioned like Cold War era technology. There's a pink Jeep there. That was an actual thing you made. I always joke about how in Phantom Pain you can go in and you can customize a Jeep to be pink, but that was like a literal kind of desert camo they did.
Right.
But I would check these books in the library, and I would spend all this time drawing these like crazy guns with like weird attachments and stuff. And it's kind of insane that Phantom Pain has so much of that. It has this kind of like military otaku stuff where you can take like, you can put attachments on. You're like, oh, here, I made like a silenced grenade launcher. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. It's the kind of thing that like a 5th grader would do. So moving on, in 7th grade, I played Metal Gear Solid, and it blew my mind because it was the first time I was like, this is like the intersection of an action movie and a video game, and that kind of that spun off, and I was obsessed with it. I loved it. And my mom wouldn't let me actually buy it because it was rated M for mature and had guns in it. So I would obsess. I'd buy the action figures, and it got me really into 80s movies. It's actually how I discovered John Carpenter, who's one of my favorite directors. He directed Escape from New York, obviously starring Snake Plissken.
Right.
It got me into 80s music. But yeah, it kind of, I think about it, it actually preceded my love of mecha anime, of giant robots. Like I'd seen Voltron and stuff, but it was later than that I got into like stuff like Gundam 8th MS Team. And so, yeah, moving from that, it was weird. I rewatched The Rock a million times, which is one of the most Metal Gear movies. It's got, I think,
definitely
Harry Gregson Williams, who does some of the music for earlier Metal Gear games, actually worked on The Rock. But it's like it's kind of crazy how much Metal Gear managed to not only kind of capture stuff that I was already into, but then sort of refocus me into other stuff.
I was gonna say, like it brought in things that you already appreciated and loved growing up, and gave it like a home for them.
Yeah.
But also set you on a path of inspiration for a bunch of things that you probably wouldn't have found without it, which I think is what the best media can do, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it really helped. It always sort of felt like, here's what games could be. Here's what they're really capable of. And I'm one of those dudes who kind of like idolizes Hideo Kojima, and I have managed to make a career out of talking about games and pop culture and movies and all that stuff. I actually got to go to Japan for a preview event for Ground Zeroes, which is, I don't really consider that Metal Gear Solid 5. It feels almost like the kind of the tanker mission demo disc tutorial for Phantom Pain. But I got to go and I got to see it up close, and I met Kojima and got to preview the game and stuff. And I think before I got to do that, I think it was early 2014, I was really, really into Gundam models. I got back into those. I was building a bunch of those, and I also started collecting 80s vinyl records, specifically like new wave and pop. And so I didn't know what Phantom Pain was going to be. But I had this period where I was into these two things at the same time, and they're entirely disparate. There's not really a whole lot that you have in common between like Kim Wilde and giant robots.
Yeah.
But here I am, and I'm obsessing over just this pop music. And there was a point in time where I remember walking down the street and I'm listening to Laura Branigan or Kim Wilde or something, and I'm like, I really wish there was something that combined 80s music with giant robots, and I'm never going to get that. But then I did, and they made the Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
And it was this. Suddenly it's a game where I'm in this mech suit with this customized weird grenade launcher I made, and I'm wearing like leopard print camo, and I'm hauling ass on like a walker gear through the desert, and I'm sneaking around like I'm playing Manhunt in 5th grade, and it's blaring, Kids in America or Gloria or something, or Rebel Yell, and I'm just like, how is this game real? How did this actually happen? And it's not finished. It's not a finished game. You play through that game, people are always like, oh, I never finished it. I'm like, that's okay, Kojima didn't finish it either. And he never probably will. And we're probably never gonna get a proper sequel or conclusion. And that kind of screws me up, and I'm still kind of hung up on Metal Gear. And I don't really know what to do about that, aside from maybe replay Metal Gear, or just dress up like Snake like I did at Halloween. I had fun with that. I actually got my fiance involved. She was kind of okay with that, and I've got a box too. But the point of my story is,
I can see you.
I'm sneaking. I don't know, it's weird to play this game that feels just sort of like a culmination of everything that not only preceded my love of video games in a modern sense, but also captured everything that kind of came between it. And it's like, I don't know what to do now, I'm gonna play, every game I'm gonna be playing after this is gonna have there's gonna be that little scratching thing in the back of my head where there's doesn't have, yes, this might be a beautiful open world that captures that feeling of sneaking around, or maybe this has giant robots in it.
Yeah,
or maybe it has 80s music.
You're chasing ghosts. It's like me with, something like Resident Evil 4, where it was just sort of this apex of where this franchise went, and then it splintered off into different directions. And I'll never truly get a sequel to it, although I probably have more of a chance of getting that than you do of getting another actual traditional Metal Gear game, whatever that even means. But I guess the reality is, so much of the things you loved funneled into this game and in this franchise, and so many things that you love came from it, that maybe what you got is a lot, and it's kind of enough.
Yeah,
and maybe it's like, I'm not gonna call you greedy, and I don't blame you for asking for more, but man, you got something really cool, and we all did, and I love this game, and I don't think we'll ever get anything like it ever again.
Yeah.
And I think even, everything that Kojima does from here won't be exactly the same.
No, I'm looking...
It'll inspire us to check out new things, right? And watch new movies and dig into other stuff. I mean, the fact that, I think his next game will get a bunch of people watching Guillermo del Toro movies that aren't just The Shape of Water that win awards, but just the weirder ones, and also maybe looking into some of the horror that went into there. I hope people don't just walk out of it and go I gotta watch The Walking Dead now. It's like, well, yeah, do that, but also I don't know, check out all the original stuff that inspired this. So
the best pop culture is the kind of stuff that funnels you into other pop culture.
Yeah.
So Metal Gear Solid 5, if you never played it, fantastic game. Story kind of peters out because they didn't finish the game. But if you like the mechanic in Far Cry of sending a dog to go bite people or having a woman snipe people for you, I think they borrowed that from Phantom Pain. So, meanwhile, Phantom Pain borrowed a bunch from Far Cry. So it's all, everything sort of flows into itself. Do you believe love could bloom on the battlefield? Well, if you do, you should check out some of our other Metal Gear videos. We all shared war stories about Metal Gear Solid 5, like wacky things that happened by accident. We all had a good laugh. And then we remembered that was the last time we'd get a proper Metal Gear game. We did get a cool Metal Gear art book. We took a look at that. It has some ideas of what that game could have been if they'd finished it. Anyway, I'm gonna hang out here with Gray Fox for a little bit. See you guys around.
A cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
why is he so sad all the time?
Because he got his arms and legs blown off.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, me? Because of Metal Gear. They don't get more Metal Gear games. Why are you a ghost?
I died watching your dumbass videos.
I should bring you back as a cyborg.
Sweet.
Like
I would love
Olga.
a big robot ass.
Punch.